So would you say that reigned true with Digital Dreamscape as well?
So a lot of the songs on Digital Dreamscape were written. I want to say like four of them were written in Newport on one of those trips. And I don't know, for me, like for my project, I want to do more. So like I discovered this, like, this way of writing, the Newport way of writing, that style, like towards the end of making Digital Dreamscape. So I think for now, I'm going to be starting my third album, and I definitely want to go away somewhere with a couple of writers and like really like, I will definitely use that for the next album. But for Digital Dreamscape, I think like that album was really born, as a lot of the art in the past 2 years really was started during the pandemic, when I was just like stuck in front of my computer and trying to like figure out inspiration. And like, you know, the rabbit hole that I went down with that one was like, you know, we were all just sitting in front of our computers, in front of screens and whatever. And like, it felt like we were living our whole lives inside of a screen, as, you know, is today modern culture. But I thought it was so interesting, is like exploring this like dream world of how you can be whoever you want to be, whatever you want to be on a screen inside of a computer. So like the whole album kind of was this like, I wrote this kind of short story for the narrative of the album, of like this person like going inside of a computer, like these two people together going inside of a computer and like this supercomputer, and like exploring like this untethered, you know, immaculate dream world inside of the computer, and discovering that really all that mattered is like human connection, the fact that they were together, and then they leave the computer at the end of it. But I wrote like a whole short story, and me and my roommate, who's a director, we flew to Ukraine actually a year ago, before all of the, you know,
wild.
The Russia stuff. We flew to Ukraine to shoot this whole short film, and we got 45 minutes of footage that accompanies the album. So it was a visual and visually conceptual and, you know, sonically conceptual album. And that was very fun for me to make.
Definitely. I mean, from a listener's perspective, it really is like a whole world, if that makes sense. It's also kind of a sonic change up for you. Like, how did you kind of find the sound?
So a couple points on that. I think what's cool, so before Digital Dreamscape, I released this EP called We Come Alive. And so my first album was In the Shape of a Dream. Then there was this little EP, We Come Alive, and then now in Digital Dreamscape. We Come Alive was kind of in probably 2018, when I think electronic music became very stale. I think like the golden ages of electronic music were 2015 to 2016. There were new genres happening every day.
Honestly.
Yeah, dude, it's so fucking good. It's when Odessa was first popping off, you know, Flume, all of these like alternative electronic indie guys were starting to pop off. And, you know, I think like after 3 years of that, I think it became so saturated. Everybody was making electronic music. And also just the way that electronic music is made has become so much easier since those early guys were doing it, like with Splice and all of these like sample sharing apps. It's like way easier to get to a really good product quicker. So I think the art form suffered for a while. But in like 2019, when I started writing, 2020, 2019, when I started writing Digital Dreamscape, a lot of people had left electronic music, and the people that remained had to do it really fucking well. And I think those were the people making like house music mostly, which is the backbeat, I think, of all dance music. And it returned back to like house music. So I think Digital Dreamscape for me was like the re-falling in love with electronic music. And that was really in the form of house music. So like the people like Rufus Du Sol, for example, was like a huge inspiration for me during it. And like, you know, I think like the whole sonically, it's all pretty much based around house music, which is super different for me. But like, I think like I really wanted to like bite in more into the electronic dance world. Like I wanted to like I wanted to just be like electronic. I think before I always not shied away, but I wanted to find a pop balance between that and electronic. But now I'm like all into electronic. So I think that's what the album was really about, sonically, you know, speaking.
I love to hear that, because I mean, I've definitely been following your work for a while, and I feel like this kind of evolution for you also kind of matches what I as a consumer have evolved into as well. I definitely have thrown this on my summer playlist for sure. But like I said, it's kind of like a world. I like to listen to Digital Dreamscape like as an album, which I always love in a project.
Dude, thank you. I try to, you know, I think the art form is the art form of the album is escaping a bit. You know, I think our attention spans are so short, but I like I really like building the visual world as well as the sonic world to like kind of, you know, as I'm writing this next album, constantly on my head is like, what is the next sonic world that this is going to live in? I don't want to make more songs that sound like they could be on Digital Dreamscape, for example, you know, and I really like doing that. In the Shape of a Dream was that same way. As you can listen to that all the way start to finish, and it like puts you in a world. That's my favorite thing about electronic music, is because it's like you can paint sonic landscapes with sounds. You're like painting a world for the listener to like live in. And if you match that with really like visuals that match, it's very escapist. You can just take the listener on a journey. And that's why I love electronic music. So I really try to do that with my albums. So I'm glad to hear that's how it resonates.
Oh no, 100%. I think it's interesting that you have like this kind of theme throughout all of your music for like the past years, not even just this one, of like postmodernism and escapism. Why do you think you gravitate towards those subjects?
I don't know, dude. I think like, you know, in movies and film, like movies are my favorite art form actually above music. I think like it's where all of it comes together, you know, like all art forms come together in movies. But I've like the things that I'm drawn to, like Inception obviously is like one of my favorite movies, and my favorite piece ever is the show Maniac on Netflix, which is like not as many, it was with Jonah Hill and Emma Stone. Not as many people saw it, but it's like this fictional, they go into a computer. That's kind of what birthed this whole idea. But there's something about, I love like exploring the human brain. Dreams to me are the most interesting thing, right? Because like when we're dreaming, we're like living inside of our head. The only thing that makes it not reality. Yeah, it's crazy. And we're having all these experiences. The only thing that makes it not reality is like there's this shared, to make it reality, it needs to be this shared consensus that it actually happened, right? Yeah. But like that's the only thing that holds it back from my dreams from being real, is that you can't say that that happened. And there's something that's just like so powerful about like the emotions and the raw subconscious space that's in your brain like during those things. And I love just exploring that in art. I think it like takes away the constructs of what's happening in the world that can be scary, and like it takes away all of that noise and just like channels emotion into its like rawest form. And I think it just gives the listener a break from like whatever worries or whatever like is happening. And I like that.